More teams from each conference punch their tickets to the WHL postseason. The Prince Albert Raiders make a strong statement after taking down the behemoths of the East, and the Medicine Hat Tigers finally set stray away from their losing habits. I'm FWFarenholtz, and you're tuned in to WHL Weekly.
Line left wing side, Gunther, he'll walk in, wrist shot, he scores! Now he's got the hat trick, Dylan Gunther, hometown kid flying down that left wing, who can stop that?
Bedard cuts to his right, shoots and scores! Connor Bedard breaks the deadlock 22 seconds into the second period.
Well. The doors are coming down in the Western Conference. Only 3 more playoff spots remain in the West, and something tells me it's going to be a while until we see the next X next to one of these 5 teams' names. When you see that only 8 points separate these 5 teams, it's almost like anything can happen, especially since they're all playing one another without any Eastern teams to face. I thought the Cougars and Giants were safe over the past couple weeks as they sat atop of the rest of the conference pretty well, but with the recent pushes from Spokane and Victoria, I wouldn't be so quick to saying these guys are cemented into the postseason just yet. Spokane are 5-4-1 in their last 10 appearances, taking down the likes of Portland and Seattle, and their overagers are to thank. We talked about Bear Hughes last week, and he's still a vital factor, but recently acquired Nick McCary is finding his groove in the state of Washington, nabbing himself 4 impressive goals over the week to help push his team above the Cougars in 2 important games. He also got to score a bittersweet one versus the team that traded him away on their home soil. That one probably pierced the heart of Sean Clouston. And Victoria, on the other hand, don't count them out either. 4-5-1 in their last 10, but they've been keeping their games a lot closer as of late. Some notable games: a 2-1 loss to Kamloops, a 3-1 loss to Everett, and a 5-4 OT loss against the Rockets. These aren't the same spank fests we were seeing just a few weeks ago. The team is competing, and a lot of that praise should fall on the shoulders of Tyler Palmer and Campbell Arnold, literal backbones to this Royals team. Do I even have to show you what they're up against? Like, they're up against tyranny. Imagine if their team took as many penalties as the Oil Kings. These two have been unbelievable over the last stretch, and even though Arnold doesn't have as many wins attached to his stat sheet, it shouldn't knock the immaculate performances he's been putting together versus the likes of Kelowna and Everett. And Palmer? Ooh, he's just been out of this world, sneaking out these key wins over the Giants and keeping other games close like that one versus Kamloops this week. Phenomenal stuff. Kamloops is goalie too, Dylan Ernst. I never thought I would have expected him to become such a polished goaltender in such a short period of time. Since filling in for Big Dylan, Dylan Garand, he's made 8 consecutive starts and has strung together a 5-2-1 record with some pretty compelling stats to go alongside him. Since the 17th of February, no goalie in the league has played more minutes than the Weyburn native, and only one more goalie has faced more shots. Talon Boykin. Although anyways, he's helped carry his Blazers team to a 4-game win streak over the past week. But the man who kept the streak alive...
Comes Kamloops. Kiefler trying to cut to the middle. He does! He scores! What a goal for Dalen Kiefler.
What a guy. You want to talk about raw progression since his first career game? Kiefler has to be one of the glistening examples among the entire league. He's lean, he's mean, he's a goal-scoring machine. He's 3rd on the team behind Toporowski and Stankoven, but tied for 14th in league scoring. He's up there with the best. He puts away the dirty ones, he fights for positioning, and makes his voice heard. But if he starts burying OT winning goals like that one on a weekly occasion, the Blazers' middle 6 just got a whole lot deadlier. Stuff may be going picture perfect over in Kamloops, but it was a scary scene in Brandon last Wednesday after Nate Danielson took a frightening fall into the end boards after going for a puck battle versus Regina's Riker Evans. Out of respect, I'm not going to show you the injury as it is quite hard to watch, but I am happy to report to you that Danielson did escape this injury with little damage. After being stretchered off by Wheat Kings and Pat's medical personnel, he was taken to hospital where he was swiftly treated and deemed A-OK the next morning. Much applause to each team's medical staff on this one. It was really an emotional incident, and it easily could have gone a lot more south if Danielson collided just a couple more inches the other way. Like, it could have been a bad one. Danielson is most likely to set to return later this weekend. One guy that would have been taking this incident to heart was Nolan Ritchie, who 2 years prior was stretchered off for a broken femur. Seeing his teammate go down must have lit a spark in him though, because he was lights out the rest of the week. In their next game, he posted a hat trick versus Lethbridge, and Jake Chason, he's also finally back for full-time duty after some off-season surgery. He put home his first of the year versus Lethbridge as well, collecting 4 points in the process. But no one has put in more work than Chad Nychuk. Remember, he's a defenseman. He had 10 points over his last 3 games. That's psychotic. He's putting up a season that reminds me of the campaign Jake Christensen had a couple years ago in Everett. Both are simply demon that just love to hold on to the puck for that extra second to get that quality shot off. Overager hockey at its finest. I think teams would be foolish not to give Nychuk a chance at the end of the season. Christensen signed his ELC during March of 2020. Could be a possibility that Nychuk gets his chance not too far down the line if he's up for the task. Nevertheless, let's look at some other prospects that are setting themselves up for their respected drafts. It's time for the Prospect Watch.
Cross the boy, shoots and scores. Right circle, centered, scores. Connor Bedard.
It's funny to see history repeat itself, because it looks like the Rockets have found another Czech import to command their offense for the next couple of years in Gabriel Sturch. He's following in Pavel Novak's footsteps as he preps for the 2022 draft, and he's been on fire, riding a 5-game point streak, collecting 4 goals in the process. Could be another late-round flyer for his offensive prowess, much like Novak was in 2020. But the cerebral piece to Kelowna's offense lately has to be the creative individual in Andrew Cristall. We've gone over him before, but we've got to do it again for his 7 points over the week, helping his team bounce back from a tough series versus Seattle. The stability and poise he brings to this lineup is honestly, in my opinion, a key factor to this team's success. I don't think this team would have clinched a playoff spot by now if it weren't for the dazzling play of this talented player. And another 2023 to look out for is Red Deer's Talon Brigley. He's been in more of a depth role all year, but is starting to see more offensive opportunities arise in the meantime. The kid has some solid breakneck speed and is definitely a name I'd keep an eye out for, especially coming next season. The big story in Red Deer though, your boy Arshdeep Bains. The lad has done it. He's inked himself to an ELC with his hometown Vancouver Cnaucks. I know he's from Surrey, but come on, like I live in Burnaby and I consider myself to be a Vancouverite. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. He's playing for his hometown team. Whatever it may be, he grew up watching this team. He's thrilled to have made it to this stage. And in all honesty, his story is quite a miraculous one. Having neither been drafted to the WHL or NHL, he's just been ripping apart expectations ever since he made the Rebels as a walk-on in 2018. So far in the 5 seasons he's played in Red Deer, he's amassed 179 points over 244 games. He led his team in scoring during the 2019-20 season and was the first player of South Asian descent to ever hold the league lead in scoring for a period of time. And he's still got a chance to hold the top spot as he currently sits tied with Saskatoon's Kyle Konkovic for that top spot. Sure, it would be sweet to see him nab that honor. Lots of games left. I think he can do it. And before we wrap things up, I just want to say the Medicine Hat Tigers, look at this. They finally won. They've done it. They took over the Swift Current Broncos in a 2-0 victory. They were being outshot and everything, but they just held strong. Carter Chorney got one in the third. Like, it was honestly a bit of a boring game. 2 goals in the third period. It waited a long time to see if anything would happen. But hey, the Tigers got out of that slump. It's just nice to see. I just hate seeing teams go on such a bad stretch. Maybe it can just give them a little bit of hope. You know, just get ready for next year. If you can end on a bit of a high note, that's good in my books. Now, time for the top players. And first off, it's tough not to add Chad Nychuk to this list again. 10 points in 3 games as a blue liner is just uncanny. Terrific stuff. And goaltender Tikhon Chaika of the Raiders will take the 2nd spot. It's been a goaltender's week in the dub, and Chaika was no exception. He's pumping some life into that Raider squad. Just look at these stats. But he's on fire. He's a draft +1, but I still think there may be a little bit of a glimpse of hope that he is taken in the 2022 NHL draft. And that leaves Spokane's Nick McCary with the last spot for his goal-scoring prowess that's giving the Chiefs a pinch of hope. As for the teams, Spokane cracks the list once again. Never thought I'd be saying that. And then it's Prince Albert, Kelowna, and Kamloops. Well, that settles it. Just a heads up, I'll be taking a break this upcoming week. Spring break has arrived, and I'll be honest, I need a little bit of a rest, guys. Like, it's not just these videos I've been pumping out for you lately. Lots of paperwork, lots of other projects on the side, and to say I need a little bit of a breather is a bit of an understatement. I hope you guys enjoy the next week ahead in the WHL. I'm still going to be watching games. I'm still going to be taking down stats, but I just need a rest from the rest of it. I love WHL hockey. I'm probably going to go to a couple Giants games. Who knows? Hope you guys enjoy your spring break if you're on one too. See you all in 2 weeks from now. See ya.